Okay, so we are going to use our idle Python program that's on the computer that you guys were supposed to download. Before we get started with that, I want you to go to your desktop and create a folder called Python. So just go to your desktop and create a folder called Python. That's where we're going to be saving stuff when we use this, okay? Then, once you've done that, I want you to come down here to this idle icon, and I think you should be able to half see it. And you just click on it, and you're going to let it open, and it's going to come up to this what they call the Python shell. All right. Now, we could actually do some coding in this, but this doesn't save anything, so I'm not even going to spend any time talking about this right now. What we're going to do is every time we want to do new code, we're going to call it a file. And so I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to New File. And basically, this little box that pops up looks very much like the shell, but this is where we're going to type our code and save it, and then you'll see how it runs, okay? So what we're always going to do is when we start code, and we talked about comments in Unit 2 on the code HS. So they're going to show up here as red, and we're going to do area and perimeter of a rectangle. All right, so some of the coloring may be a little different from code HS. This is like kind of actual code in a Python program. So it's always going to be red. Remember, comments are ways that we can communicate what the code is about. If you're working with somebody else, they know what's going on. It does not print. It does not have anything to do with your code. So you can do that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and this code to determine area and of okay, so we're going to add something here a little different than what we did in your code HS. So we're going to kind of do that, but I'm going to add a little bit. So this is going to be called the area and perimeter of a rectangle, and then this is just an explanation of what we're going to be doing in our code. All right, so those are how we're going to get started. You're always going to have some kind of a comment up at the top. All right, so just as before, we need to start with our variables. So we're going to do width equals, and rather than saying that width equals a set number like what we did in code HS, we're going to actually make this so that the user can actually input. So it's almost going to be like a little calculator. So if you remember, if we want to input a number, you have to do integer int, and then you're asking for the input. So you did this before, and now we're going to go ahead and type what we want them to enter. So we're going to put enter the width, and you should use a colon and then a space, because then that's more aesthetic looking. So that way the number's not right up next to the colon if you put that space. And then we're going to go with our quotation mark. And remember, we need 2 parentheses to close this up because we have these 2 parentheses. All right, and then I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to make sure that that's lowercase. Yeah, I want to do everything in lowercase. All right, so there's width. Then we're going to go ahead and do length. And again, we're not going to give the specific length like we did. We're going to ask for the length. We're going to let them tell us what they want the length to be. And so again, you use the int, and then input means that you're asking for input from the user. Enter the length, and then a colon, and then a space, and then your quotation mark, and then our 2 parentheses to close it up. Okay, so now we've asked for our input. In our code HS, we specifically said what the length and the width equaled. This time we're asking. But then you go into the same thing. We need to go ahead and we are going to put in our formula. So I'm going to put area equals, and we know that it equals width times height. Okay, and you got to really watch your spelling. You've got to make sure if it's lowercase up here, it's lowercase here. If you do capitalize up there, you should capitalize here. So I just do everything in lowercase. It's easier. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the perimeter, and equals 2 times, and then we're going to do, now you can make this a W and an L, but sometimes you don't really know what that is. So that's why I would write it out, but you could potentially use abbreviations, but that's the only bad thing is then people don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to actually have to do 2 times, and then I'm going to do, whoop, I don't mean to put height right there. I don't know why I put height. That should be length. And then this is going to be width times length. And then I've got to put that in a parentheses because that's, whoops, gosh, that's going to be a plus. Sorry about this. So I want you guys to actually, hopefully, should be following along and typing this in. I should have mentioned that, but I want you to type this in so you can see how this works, and plus then this gives you an example to look back on. All right, then at this point we want the computer to print the answers for us. So I'm going to put print, and this is what we want it to print. We want it to print whatever the formulas are. So these are the things that we're going to ask. We don't want it to print this stuff. We're just asking for this information because we need that information to find out those two things. So I'm going to put print area, and I'm going to do print, and notice you can't put a capital P because the Python doesn't recognize that. So, but it does recognize a lowercase, and that turns purple. And I'm going to put perimeter right there. Okay, so now we've got our code. So I added on a little bit to what we've kind of put together, some of the different individual things that we did in the code HS, just to show you how a program can work here. All right, so now what we have to do in the next step is to go up here to run, and you're going to hit run module. But now with Python, it won't do anything until you save it. So at this point, you're going to hit OK. And this is where I want you to use that. So I'm going to click on my desktop. I'm going to go to my Python folder, and I'm going to type up here. You can do area. And area and area and of rectangle. All right, so I'm going to hit save, and now it's going to have you run through this. So enter the width. I'll do 5. Enter the length. I'm going to do 9, and now it prints 45 and 28. Okay. Now, what we really should do is go back here. All right, so that did that. But what I really want is I want us to do this. I want us to type in. So because now, tell people what you just did. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the area is, and then I'm going to put this is a little new. All right, so the area is, this is going to print out, and then this should print our answer. And the area is that, and then we can put over here, we can put the perimeter is, okay, and now it'll do the perimeter. So let's just see what this looks like. So I'm going to go to run. I'm going to do run module. Now this time I made changes to this, but I've still got it saved, and it's okay with what I have it saved as. Now if you wanted to change something different, you would, a file name, you'd have to do that, but we're okay. So I'm just going to hit OK, and now I'm going to do 6 and 3, and now it says the area is 18 and the perimeter is 18. All right. And hopefully that's right. So you can see now where you can ask people to put in what they want, and it'll print out and it tells area and perimeter. So this is what I want you to do. So let's just kind of look at our code. This is our print statement. We actually want to print that, and then we're bringing down area down here, and that is going to do that calculation, and then print statement, and then bringing down our formula perimeter down there. And up here we asked for input. Now we could have just said width equals 10, length equals 5, whatever, and you're okay that way, but this is more what code would be. It's more interactive, and that's what we're going to be doing, is a lot of interactive code. All right, so I want you guys to do this as practice, and the way we're going to turn this in is because I can't, is actually what I would like for you to do is put your two windows like that, and then what I would like for you to do is just take a screenshot of this and send me that. So that way I can see your code and I can see your mistake or what you've got. Now I'm going to do something. I'm going to make this so that it's wrong so you guys can see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead, and I changed this to a capital A. So let's just see what happens. I'm going to hit run, and I'm going to have to hit OK again, and I'm going to hit, it's so far so good, and then boom. All right, and if you look, it really kind of helps you figure out what your area. It says print the area is area, and then name area is not defined. Well, that right there tells me, that's weird. I need to go back and look. And then so what you do is you go back and you're like, oh, lowercase, uppercase. All right, so I'm going to make that a lowercase, which is what we want. This is what we want, and then I go up to run, and every time you're going to be asked to save, and then I'm going to do that, and it will just go ahead and add on to this, and now I can hit 5 and 5, and the area is 25 and the perimeter is 20. All right, so I want you guys to do this as a practice, and then I want you to take a screenshot of your code and your answers. If you get absolutely stuck, you can take a screenshot and send it to me, and I can try to help you that way, okay? Or we can do a Google Meet, and you can show me your screen, and I can help you that way also, all right? And then after you do this, I'm going to give you some more assignments that you're going to use the Python idle program on your computer.